Hello, I'm Pamela Davis Brown. Welcome to episode 253 of the Well Done Life podcast. And hello, welcome back to episode 253 of the Well Done Life podcast. I'm your host, Pamela Davis Brown. If you are new here, hey, how are you? Welcome. I am so glad that you're here with us this week. I hope that you will stay for a very long time and bring friends. And if you're new, if you've been here before, you guys know the deal. I love you deep. Thank you so much for continuing to rock with me. Of course, I always want you to stay and bring lots of friends because I wouldn't be this far on the journey without you. So I'm really grateful that you continue to support and make me want to be better. So before we get started with this week's episode, I like to be really foundational. It's really important to me to make sure that we all understand what the Well Done Life is about. The Well Done Life brand is something that I created for women because I believe in the power of women. I believe in us creating spaces where we can be our most authentic selves, where we can talk, where we can laugh, where we can learn from each other. Because I'm going to be honest, I don't want you to make some of the same mistakes that I've made. And I hope that some of the experiences that you've heard from me, as well as other people that I will have on the podcast as well, will inspire you to be the best version of yourself. Because that's really what this life is about. It's about trying to be the best version of ourselves and understanding that as women, we need spaces where we can speak to each other and learn from each other and grow. And so that's what we do here. So welcome. I hope you stay. I hope you feel seen, valued, and loved because you are. And then that leads me into my second foundation. My second foundation is love. I truly believe in the power of love. I believe in everything that we do here in this space is always going to be rooted in that. And so it's always important for me to make sure that before we do anything, I send you prayers because I truly believe in the power of prayer. And so I've been standing on some foundational prayers for the past few years probably now because I just feel like, Lord, this is really where my heart needs to stay. And so I'm going to be sending you my prayers this week of peace. I'm always going to preach for you to take space, for you to be able to just find moments where you can get still. Because in stillness, it is really an opportunity for you to regulate your mind, your body, your spirit, and your soul. And that opens up for my second prayer, which is clarity. Clarity, because it is so important with all the things that are being thrown at you, that you are able to take a moment and be clear about what is coming. You have to be able to use clarity because it's going to help you guide you as you're making decisions. I'm not going to say it's going to make everything perfect. It never does. But it's better for you to have that space of clarity so that you can feel confident in what you're doing, even when it scares you. Because a lot of times what's going to be on the other side for you, your next level, is going to be scary. So you're going to need to be able to have at least a little pocket of clarity to help you as you are navigating through that. So my first two prayers for you are peace and clarity. And then that leads, right into my third prayer. My third prayer for you is always going to be love. And I want you to have good love. And I'm talking about the love that feels good from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet kind of love. And I'm not just speaking from a relational standpoint either. I want to make sure that you are surrounding yourselves with a good group of people, your community. There is no one that is going to come to save us. I think we've all pretty much figured that out. So it is very important that you surround yourself with people that you can trust, people that have your back, people that will encourage you as well as correct you at times when you need it so that you can continue to be pliable. Those are your people. Hang on to them and make sure that you are pouring into them in ways just like they pour into you. And I know that that's so hard because Lord knows life does its thing and it is a crazy and busy time for many of us. But just know that your true clique, your true tribe, they understand. They still see you. They worry about you. They pray for you. They think of you. Send out some prayers and thoughts yourself as well. And make sure that you're pouring into them the way that they pour into you. And then rounding out my prayers, I'm always going to pray for you to be abundant. I'm going to pray for you to have abundance on all levels. And when I talk about that, I'm not just speaking from a financial standpoint. Of course, I'm always going to want you to be financially abundant, but I want you to be abundant in your spirit. I want you to have memories and moments that are going to sustain you when the money doesn't, because it's not always going to be about the money. It's going to be sometimes about the moment. It's going to be about the joy that was created. And in a cycle sometimes of chaos, you have to be able to find the joy. Don't let anyone take your joy. Own that joy. Be happy about that joy and lean into it because you deserve it. And it's really that simple. You deserve it. So don't give up on it. Covet it and enjoy it. So those are my prayers for you this week and my prayers for you for always. So I'm recording on Saturday, June 20th at 2:40 p.m. I'm really excited to be back. I want to thank everyone for their support of last week's episode, Training for the Woman That I'm Becoming. It really was a very personal episode for me because I really feel like that has really been a very central part in my journey of health and wellness, which is a really big focus for me right now. But I also wanted to make sure that I talk about it because it's not just about health and wellness, even though I'm really big about that right now. It's also about how that applies to other areas of your life and how important it is for you to get clear about your goals and your purpose and your vision, because you do understand that doing all this work is going to be monotonous. It's going to be thankless. And you have to be able to inspire yourself through the thanklessness. You have to be able to be clear about your vision. You have to be able to write it down and make it plain so that you understand what you're shooting for. And so that really had me thinking about it. And as a part of it, I realized, and I've had to even rethink it a lot myself, I didn't really talk about the other real big aspect of understanding and owning that you are training for the person that you are becoming. And that big aspect of it is that this is your journey and you have to be willing to do your journey your way. And I know that probably sounds counterintuitive because, of course, I myself, like I said, I work with an obesity medicine doctor. I'm using Chat GPT. I'm doing all these different kind of things. But in a sense, it's not counterintuitive because it's me deciding that I'm going to take all the insight that I have been given, but I'm going to cultivate it, into what works with me and make adjustments as needed. And I think a lot of times when we are trying to figure out our journey, when we're figuring out who we're training to become, when we're on a specific path, and that can be in regards to either a career advancement, that could be in regards to physical health, that can be in regards to financial health, we are all looking and trying to find a path forward, a preset path. Like we want a path that somebody else has done, executed well. And in a lot of instances, we might not even vet it out completely, but it's just the fact that it makes us feel like it's similar to what we're going through, that we listen to you, that we follow through on it, and we try to adapt that plan into our lives. And maybe it's just me. And if that is, that's okay. But I wanted to make sure that I talk about it because I don't think it's just me. I think there's a lot of other people who have felt the way that I have, where it's like, okay, I've decided, yes, I have owned it. I'm on this journey. I figured out my plan. I've asked myself what I'm going to do. I'm putting my goals together. Now I need an example of what all that looks like because, I'm still trying to figure it out. You're not really 100% confident yet. So you're not completely owning the journey. You're owning somebody else's journey and trying to make it your own. And one of the things that I've had to learn, especially on my health and wellness journey, is that can work for a season. I was talking to my husband and, he's getting himself back into the gym and getting motivated as well. And he was telling me, we were talking about how sometimes, you have to take somebody else's energy until you can own it yourself. You know what I mean? Like somebody else's enthusiasm, somebody's excitement for getting in the gym and doing this. You got to just be a part of the magic until you can own it for yourself completely. And so this is where we're at. We're talking about owning it for ourselves else completely. And like I said, that will work for a while. In the beginning, for myself, I know that that worked for me. It helped get me through, I think about it, probably the first year of my weight loss journey, of my health journey, my journey to where I am now in regards to body recomposition, because that's a whole nother thing. But when I got to this body recomposition side of it, I recognized that that wasn't going to work anymore, because what everyone else thought that I should do, how I should do it, what I did before, it didn't work, because now I'm on a whole new level. And the reason that I want to talk about it is because I want everybody to understand that as you are trying to figure out your health journey, as you're trying to figure out your, like I said, your promotion, your career path, all of those things, you're going to have to understand that the journey is going to change. The journey is going to change. Like, you can ride on somebody else's energy for a little while, but at some point in time, more is going to be required. And so I wanted to have this conversation because I want you to feel confident in the fact that it's okay to make it your journey your way, because I've had to do that. And it's funny because one of the things that I had to learn, in particularly these last actually 2 weeks, I've had to learn is that rest is essential to me getting to my next level. And I know that that probably, is counterintuitive what you're thinking about when you're trying to lose weight, when you're trying to go hard in the gym, because I have been going hard in the gym. I probably was lifting like previously like almost six times a week, having like active recovery, and it was working for a while. Obviously it's definitely tightened me up and created it, but my body was just like, I'm through with this. And I also, have to remember that because of where I am right now in my life, I'm 53 and perimenopausal. It's not like when I was 23. I can't go as hard. And luckily, I'm very grateful for the fact that I wasn't suffering from a pain perspective at all. I felt good. Like, my conditioning can handle that, which makes me feel comfortable. But it also recognizes, on a side note, that even though I physically feel like I can do it, my body was saying no. And so my body was holding weight. And so 2 weeks ago, I had gone in for my weight loss shot, my Zepbound. I take Zepbound. I've been on it for almost 2 years now, and I actually am in more of a maintenance phase. So for me, I don't take it every week. I take it every 10 to 15 days, and my dosing has come down. I think I previously topped out at like 7.5, but I had gone down to 5 for a while, especially when I started really getting more structured on my body recomposition, because I needed to be able to eat, and I just wasn't getting enough hunger cues to be able to really hit my protein the way that I wanted to. So Dr. Hill and I discussed it, and we made the approach that because I'm tight with my nutrition, I'm ready to come down. So I came down, and I had been at 5 for a while, and I was doing good, but my weight always will plateau, or I'll spike up and then I'll come back down. And I wasn't moving in accordance to the output that I was producing. And let me just preface, for me, like I said, I'm in a body recomp journey. So for me, it's not about the scale number anymore. I'm more concerned about body fat and body muscle and muscle mass, excuse me. So our conversations are a little bit different than when I was for a year. But long story short, short story long. So I had gone, I think we had gone a good solid like 14, 15 days in between my last weigh-in until I went previous Friday. And I had to have an adjustment. When I came back and I got to get the shot, she was like, we were going to actually go down even further, because I really wanted to make sure that I was giving my body the opportunity to hit the numbers that I have, started to really titrate down, see where I really need to be in order to have optimal performance. Because again, even at 5, my hunger cues were still suppressed. And so I needed to see how am I conditioning how I could do everything. And so we went in, and like I said, my body was up. And so we made the decision at that point, we'll go ahead and go down. But she started talking to me not about my nutrition, but about my rest. Like, how was I giving my body rest? Like, let's talk about what recovery structure looks like. I have to remember I'm perimenopausal, so my body will hold on to weight thinking that it's in distress because I'm eating so clean, I'm doing these things, and I'm still lifting as much. I need to calm down, and I need to focus on actually even increasing my food intake because I still wasn't getting enough. I was probably averaging maybe but I'm going to say, like, on average, I would have like over 170 grams of protein, but under, like, maybe sometimes I would hit like 180 something, but it wasn't consistent. And for me, for what I'm trying to do in regards to building lean muscle mass, and I was still losing muscle, like it wasn't clocking. And so we decided, hey, let's take these next 10 days to restructure my workouts to really include, to prioritize recovery, to prioritize rest. I'm still lifting my 4 times a week. I'm going to lift 4 times a week, but I'm really going to give active recovery a shot, or even straight recovery. And during active recovery for me, just so people understand what that means, I will do like a zone 2 recovery, meaning that I have my heart rate, beat per minute, within a range that works for me. And I'll have to look and see what that is because I don't remember off the top of my head. But normally I'm like in 130s, like I'm doing incline treadmill work, or I'm riding on my Peloton because I still love my Peloton, and getting my rest in my recovery in an active state that's not creating this intense trigger in my body, like, okay, something's going on. Because obviously that's going to contribute to cortisol, inflammation, all of those things can throw you off. And this really does start to become an exact science. And so I did that for the last 10 days. And I'm going to tell you the amount of that. Oh, yes. And I started creatine. Creatine, I'm probably gonna say it wrong, but creatine, yes, I do 5 milligrams every day. I take Thorin creatine. I'll link it in the show notes. Like, I'm not getting paid or anything from it. I'm just talking about it because I have been on it now over a week, and I love it. I have not had any issues with GI or like bloating. I know a lot of people talk about it. It's not just about pulling water into the muscle, though. There is brain preservation, all kinds of wonderful benefits associated being studied with creatine. It is a very studied material. It will not impact your kidneys. And even for me, because I do tend to have kidney issues in my family and stuff like that, we are cycling, and I'm not cycling it. I'm going to get retested in 30 days to see like where my kidney level functions are at, to see if there's any type of issues. And really, I am prioritizing hydration, which I think everybody should. You really should be trying to get 128 ounces or even 140 ounces plus, depending on how active you are so that you can stay hydrated. But again, like I said, I've started out. So I did all that, and I went down on my Zepbound to 2.5. And so we did that 2 weeks ago. And during this time, like I said, I prioritized really being very intentional with my workouts. I had that from Dr. Hill. I had ChatGPT. Like, we were aligned in regards to how this would work. And so long story short, story long, I just weighed in. And I have picked up like 2.5 pounds of muscle in 10 days, which is amazing. So I'm not losing. I loved it. And I feel really good. I didn't feel as beat up as I had started to feel a little bit. I feel like the creatine is giving me a nice little extra push. I can't say it's like a bullet or anything like that. It is not a magic bullet, but I will say that I tend to recover really well. And I think that's a mix of the creatine as well as prioritizing rest. So I'm telling you this long story because I want you to remember something. Sometimes you don't have to be involved in everything. You don't have to do the plan one specific way to get it done. And so that's why I wanted to sit down and write this, because I'm sitting here telling you in one episode about, training for the woman that you're becoming, being so intentional, all these things. But I want you to also understand that This is your journey and you have to do it your way. And so I wanted to spend some time talking about that because I want you to understand that in this journey that you are embarking on, and I'm just gonna look down because I have my little title notes here. I want you to understand the first point is that more isn't always going to be better. Like I was explaining to you in that long story just a moment ago, I had to rest. I had to do different things. I didn't have to go hard in the gym and I could still produce results. And so I want you to understand that because as women, especially as Black women, I'm sorry, we are always trying to do everything. We are. I am as a Black woman and an oldest daughter, honey, I am full. I'm full. I have a mother who is ill, who is elderly and has health challenges. I have my younger sister. I'm in a long distance marriage. Honey, this plate is full and I have an active job and I am out here trying to have the body of a stripper. So I'm busy. I'm busy. I'm busy. But I'm trying to say all of that to say that there are moments in all of that where it is okay for you to pull back, where it is okay for you to sit still, where it's okay for you to do less and expect to receive more results. Because not everything is going to require you to show up all the time at 100% in order to produce the outcome that you're looking for. And you have to be able to understand that that is okay on your journey. Because again, you're doing this thing your way. And I definitely want to make sure that I prioritize talking about that because, like I told you guys last week, and I'm going to tell you again, no matter what goal you're working towards, it's always going to be monotonous. At some point in time, it's going to get boring. At some point in time, it's going to get hard. At some point in time, you're going to get busy and you're not going to be able to give 100% in that day to the goal. You either can beat yourself up about it and pull back completely, which is going to totally throw you off the mark. Or you can recognize that that day was what it was and you just keep going. And that's the thing. A lot of times, like, especially even on these health journeys, you know, you eat the wrong thing in that moment. And then you're just like, oh, well, I might as well just go ahead and just let everything go for the day because I did that. I've done that. That's the wrong kind of thinking. The right kind of thinking would have said, okay, I had this. Okay, I'm going to eat it. I'm going to move on. I'm going to get back on plan immediately and keep going. But you get so frustrated because it's like, why did I let it myself slip? That you just fall further into the slip rather than just recognizing that one moment doesn't have to mess it up unless you let it mess it up. And so you got to start to give yourself grace and understand that it's okay for momentary slip ups. It's okay for you not to go hard all the time. It's all right. Just stay the course, because the worst thing that you can do is let that slip up turn into just something even more and just get totally thrown off versus recognizing that it wasn't really even a slip up. It was a moment and I can handle this moment and I can have a healthy enough relationship with my food or my goal or whatever you're working toward, and recognize that even though I might have slipped off plan just in this moment, I'm pulling myself back together and I'm back on plan. And when I say back on plan, I'm not talking about starving yourself. I'm not talking about going out here to do some extra cardio. I'm not talking about doing any of those things, especially as women who are over the age of 40. Like, we have to stop punishing ourselves for eating food. You're going to have moments where you're going to have a piece of cake. You are. Okay, you had a piece of cake. The world is not going to end. Your diet is not completely done because you had this piece of cake. Okay, get back in the rest of the plan and keep going and then move on. But we make it more than what it needs to be, and it throws us off even further. And that's really not about the moment. It's about us not having enough grace for ourselves to understand that we make mistakes, or we make decisions that always don't align with the plan. But this is our journey, our way, and we're going to get back on the journey because it's a journey. It's not a structured, rigorous plan that requires you to go one way. It's your journey, it's your life, and it's okay. So we have to give ourselves that space. And so then, like I mentioned earlier, one of the biggest things that I've learned is that rest is a part of the process. Like I just told you earlier, we're going hard, trying to do all the things. You're going hard in the gym, you're doing all the studying, it's okay to rest because in rest is strategy. I know for myself, when I sat in rest, when I was doing my active recovery, when I was thinking about it, I was strategizing like how I'm going to incorporate all of this into my structures moving forward. How that really shows that maybe my plan was a little too hard and I need to be flexible. I need to adjust. I'm still working toward the goal. I'm just taking a different path to it because I understand that in this season, I require something different. But I want to make sure that you understand rest is not laziness. Rest is not weakness. Rest is rest. Rest is an opportunity for you to dial back into you. Rest is an opportunity for you to see where you can make adjustments that can make you better. You need rest. You have to stop. We have to stop allowing ourselves to feel like we constantly have to be in motion. You don't owe anyone but yourself this journey. So make sure that there are pockets of peace in your journey so that you can be at rest and that you can be the most efficient and strategic version of yourself working toward the goal. Because remember, again, you don't owe anyone this journey but yourself. And then that leads me into a real big one. And I think it's definitely one of the biggest lessons I've learned, and especially even me telling you my journey. I want you to stop borrowing somebody else's journey for yours. Like I do. I love sharing my stuff with you because again, like I said in the beginning of the episode, I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I've made. But my ultimate goal by always any of this that I share with you is that I want you to be inspired to recognize that you can set yourself on the path that you need to in order to be successful in whatever you're trying to work on. My father always used to say this to me, and it is the truth. You can do anything that you set your mind to. You can do anything that you set your mind to. And I clearly want you to know that and understand it because I want you to recognize that all of us, myself included, we're not experts. I mean, there are some experts, don't get me wrong, and we can learn from them. And to me, experts are those people who have like those certifications behind their name, you know? Like those are the experts. You can learn from people like myself who are the influencers. You can learn from us. You can learn, you can listen, you can seek advice, but you have to also understand that as this is part of your journey, you have to be willing to research your journey. You have to be willing to really get your hands into the information. Because I'm going to be honest, like, I told you guys a while ago, when I first started my weight loss journey, I wasn't with the GLP-1 thing. I wasn't. I wasn't with it. It was just, it seemed a little too weird to me. I didn't have really, I'll be honest, I didn't have a clear understanding of the potential impacts in my body. I don't really normally like to take a lot of medication, but after doing research and understanding what it was more and listening and to experts as well as Dr. Hill and trying to put a path together, I was able to move forward. I have to admit for myself, I don't just jump out and do everything. Like I just started creatine, but I have been lifting weights for a minute. Like I said, like December of last year is when I really started trying to push heavy weight. I just started a week ago. So I'm just trying to tell you, like, you don't have to jump on everything that somebody is telling you to do. For me, it was like I had to do my research. I had to get to a point where I felt comfortable and committed enough in my journey, where my nutrition was healthy enough, where my hydration was focused enough based upon everything that I had researched about creatine to take that in. So I'm telling you this because I want you to understand you can't be lazy with your journey. You can't. You can't adapt someone else's plan and make it yours. You cannot be a sideline person in your journey. You have to be an active researcher. You have to stop trying to borrow somebody else's journey and make it your own. You have to recognize that as the beautiful, wonderful, unique individual that you are, it is going to require a different path for you to get there. And that's okay. And you can take all of the advice, all of the insight that we are providing you, and still craft something else that is totally outside of it that works for you, as long as it works for you, and that you are actively understanding and researching, because this is your body. And don't let anyone, myself included, tell you anything to put in your body without you going out here and actively trying to understand what it is, how it can impact, and feel confident and comfortable in what you're doing. Because it is so easy, I see, with the way that things are marketed, that you will just want to just try this and try this because it looks like, all these other people, it worked for them. You're not them. You're you. And so you have to understand what's going to work for you and what's not going to work for you. And you have to be willing to do the research. You have to be willing to advocate for yourself. You have to be willing to educate yourself in order for you to be successful on this journey. Because information is not wisdom. It's not. I mean, let's be honest. We live in a time where you can get information like this 24 hours a day. I mean, it's just constantly right there. And so you have to understand that there is a difference between information telling you what's possible and wisdom helping you determine what's appropriate. And that's the sweet spot. You have to understand the difference, because again, this is your journey, your way. And so you want to make sure that you are doing things that align with you, because really the best part of all of this, if it's going to be your journey, is you're taking ownership of your journey. You understand that this journey is for you. That has been like my biggest thing. Like, I have learned that this journey really for me extends beyond health and wellness, because no one is going to care about me more than I care about me. And no one's going to care about you more than you care about you. You know what I mean? There is no doctor, no spouse, no coach, none of them who are going to care more about you than you should care about you. And so you have to be willing to take ownership of that. You have to own your health. You have to own your choices. You have to own your mistakes. You own your growth, your success, because it's not going to always be comfortable, but it's empowering. Because the more ownership you have, it puts you back into a position of trust. It puts you back into the driver's seat of your journey. And that's the key to really getting this done. Like you said, you're training for the woman that you're becoming. You got to own that. You got to own you. You have to own this process. And you have to understand it's not always going to fit into everyone else's perspective of how it should be. And that's okay. Because I've had to learn that. And I'm okay. And I don't expect anything different. I don't expect everyone to do what I do. They don't have to. Only thing that I hope is that everyone is taking ownership of their health, because I love you and I want you to have the best life possible. And I know that it is challenging out here. I know that we all have so many goals that we're trying to accomplish, but I can tell you it is virtually impossible for you to focus on making more money when you don't feel well. You don't. When you don't feel well physically or mentally or spiritually, you can't get to the next level because you're not well. And so you have to take ownership of your wellness, of your health, on whatever area of life that you're trying to work in. And you have to own that journey. Make it your own journey. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Worry about what you're doing. And research and get strong and own that, because you are worth it. It's like the ultimate understanding of you are worth it. And so I really hope that you will give yourself the space to be able to do that, because I know that it's, like I said, it's not going to be perfect. This journey is not always going to be about doing more. This journey is going to be about doing what works. It's about listening and trusting yourself enough to do what's necessary to help get you to the next level, to take care of you. And ultimately, remain teachable. Always understand you don't know it all, neither does anybody else. There is always something more that you can be exposed to. Don't be afraid to learn more. Don't be afraid to stretch more, because all of those stretches, all of that learning is essential if it's going to lead you to where you deserve to be, if it's going to help you get to your path. Because your path is not going to look like everybody else's. And that is okay. Because I know for me, my journey changed when I stopped looking for someone to tell me exactly what it looked like. And I started listening to myself. And I started giving myself more permission to learn, to question, to trust myself. And I want you to give yourself that same permission. Because remember, as you're training for the woman that you are becoming, in that training, you have to understand that you are equipped with the tools necessary to make the best decisions for you. And you will remain teachable and pliable and questionable so that you can constantly evolve and grow while you're on this journey. You're not afraid of what's in front of you because you trust that you're going to make the right decision for you. So remember, trust yourself, own your journey, and it's your journey, your way, just like this is my journey, my way. So that is this week's episode. It really was important, and I hope that ties it up really nicely toward, training for the woman that I become. Because and actually even taking it back to understanding that consistency is sexy. It's like all three of them are kind of like a nice little arc for you, because I really want you to be able to take these things and apply it to your goals, be it health, wellness, financial wellness, physical wellness, spiritual wellness, all of those things, because it's not a one size fit all journey, but it's the best journey and it's your journey. So own it, because I'm here and praying and pulling for you. So I want to thank you guys again for sitting with me. I really hope, again, that you found something that will help you be inspired. Please don't hesitate to share with me. I get so inspired by hearing your journeys, because, child, I'm on the same race with you, just trying to stay consistent and do the best I can. So I would love to be able to support and encourage you. I'm trying to think, will I be back with the episode next week? I'm trying to figure that out. My honey is coming. We're getting ready to celebrate our anniversary. And yes, I think we have been talking about something, so we might have something for y'all about that too. So we'll talk about that. We have a lot to talk about. Like, it's just a beautiful time. So I'm really just excited about where the week will go, what it will be, how we will come together. But at some point I'll say something and we'll figure that out. Of course. But I really, again, want to thank you. And I really am pulling for you on this journey. And like I said, if there's anything I can do, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can always email me at hello@thewelldonelife.com, or reach out to me at the Well Done Life podcast or at the Notorious PLDB on Instagram. I am around on the other socials as well. So just, hit me up. And again, remember, this is your journey, your way. You are training for the woman that you are becoming, and you are being consistent and strong and focused, and you deserve this. You deserve it. So I will talk with you guys again soon. Please take care of yourselves and each other. Bye-bye.